Imagine this. You wake up one day and something just feels off. You haven't changed your routine, life's more or less the same, you're still going on your usual walks. But suddenly it feels like your body's decided to go rogue. You can't sleep properly, you start sweating in the middle of a meeting, and that tiredness, that relentless exhaustion that not even 3 coffees can fix. Sound familiar? Well, love, it might not be stress, and life probably hasn't just turned upside down overnight. You could be entering the least talked about and most poorly explained stage of a woman's life, perimenopause. And yes, I said perimenopause, because unlike what most people think, menopause doesn't suddenly turn up one random afternoon. It's a long, gradual process, packed with subtle signs that if you don't know how to read them, can leave you feeling like you're losing your mind. But don't worry, I'm going to lay it all out for you, no fluff, with real-life examples and tips you can start using straight away. First, let's clear something up. What on earth is menopause, really? Technically, menopause is that moment when you've gone 12 months without a period. That's it. What happens before that, premenopause and perimenopause, is where all the action kicks off. And it's funny because most doctors and magazines only ever mention hot flushes and irregular periods, but trust me, there's a whole lot more. One of the most overlooked and downright baffling symptoms is changes in your sense of smell and taste. Loads of women suddenly can't stand scents they used to adore, or they start noticing odd flavors in their favorite foods. Imagine your usual cup of tea tasting metallic, or your mate's perfume making you feel queasy. These little changes are down to fluctuating estrogen levels, which affect your sensory receptors. And no, you're not imagining it, and you're not being overdramatic. It's very real. Another invisible but super important clue: changes in the texture of your skin and hair. Maybe you used to have shiny hair and fresh-looking skin, but now it feels dry, thinner, and you've got this strange itchiness on your arms or legs for no reason. That's because as estrogen and progesterone levels drop, your body produces less collagen and natural oils. The good news? If you spot it early, you can tweak your diet and self-care routine to slow it right down. Before we continue, something important. In the description of this video, I've left a resource that could really help you through this stage. It's something several women are starting to use and are seeing real changes. If you're curious, have a look later. It might be just what you need. And watch out for this one loss of muscle tone, even if you haven't changed a thing in your daily routine. You catch a glimpse in the mirror and suddenly your arms look a bit wobblier, or lugging those supermarket bags feels tougher. It's not just aging. Estrogen plays a role in muscle metabolism, and as it dips, your body naturally holds onto more fat and loses tone, even if you're still moving like you always did. Now here's one of the silent symptoms that completely throws women off, and hardly anyone links it to menopause: broken sleep. Not just struggling to nod off, but this pattern of dropping off fine, then waking at 2 or 3 in the morning for no reason, mind racing or sweating buckets. The culprit? A drop in melatonin and changes to your circadian rhythms. And if this is happening to you, don't think you're weird. It's incredibly common. It's just that barely anyone talks about it. Speaking of things that wake you up, let's talk about nighttime heart palpitations. Waking up with your heart pounding for no obvious reason can actually be caused by those hormonal highs and lows. They often get brushed off as anxiety or stress, but honestly, they're a classic part of this stage of life. It's just that no one ever told you before now. Here's another one that'll make you think. Changes in how your body digests certain foods. Suddenly, lentils, dairy, or specific grains start sitting badly when you used to eat them without a hitch. The reason? Estrogen directly affects the gut, and when it drops, your microbiome shifts. This means bloating, wind, sluggish digestion, and on and off constipation. And funnily enough, these gut changes start way before your periods stop. But since no one mentions it, it wouldn't even cross your mind. And what about changes to your eyesight? Some women notice they suddenly struggle to focus on things up close, or their eyes feel dry and irritated. It's often blamed on age or too much screen time, but it turns out your eyes have hormone receptors too. Yep, and it makes a difference. One of the least talked about, and probably most frustrating, issues is mental fatigue and brain fog. That feeling where you forget names, appointments, words, or lose your train of thought mid-sentence. This doesn't mean you're getting clumsy or heading for early dementia. It's your hormones messing about with neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. And the good news is, there are ways to tackle it. Now, for one of the most invisible yet defining clues, sudden intense mood swings for no obvious reason. And I don't mean just feeling a bit weepy or having an off day. I'm talking about feeling completely disconnected from the things that used to excite you, having bursts of unexplained rage, or crying for no reason whatsoever. The thing is, sex hormones work like mood modulators, and when they get out of whack, your brain reacts in all sorts of chaotic ways. The worst part is that, because no one can see it, it often gets dismissed as you being over the top or dramatic. Here's another one barely anyone warns you about. Increased sensitivity to medications and alcohol. Suddenly one glass of wine knocks you sideways, or a standard pill leaves you with side effects you never had before. That's because lower hormone levels slow down how your liver processes substances. So no, you're not getting weak. Your body's just working differently now. And here's a biggie. Changes in your balance and coordination. Loads of women find themselves tripping more, feeling a bit clumsy, or experiencing slight unsteadiness. And no, it's not bad luck. The vestibular system, which handles balance, is also affected by hormones, especially when progesterone takes a dive. See how the list is way longer and more complicated than anyone ever told you? That's why it's so important to recognize these subtle signs, so you don't think you're losing your mind or just getting old. Stick with me, because what comes next matters even more. We're going to dive into what you can start doing right now to get ahead of this, protect yourself from those invisible symptoms, and take back that sense of control over your body. And I promise you, there are simple, powerful things that can completely change how you feel each day. Now that you know menopause doesn't arrive out of the blue, and that the symptoms can kick in years before your final period, let's focus on what really matters: how to spot it before it turns your life upside down. Because yes, it's absolutely possible to get ahead of it and not sit around waiting for everything to spiral out of control before reacting. And trust me, The sooner you start, the better quality of life you'll have in the years to come. The first thing you need to do is forget the idea that a hormone test is the only way to find out what's happening. While it's true that a hormonal profile can give you some clues, hormones fluctuate so much during this phase that a single blood test often tells you very little. In fact, loads of women go to the doctor, have a test, get told everything's normal, and get sent back home. That's why it's crucial that you become your own best observer. Here's a tool hardly anyone uses, but it makes all the difference: a hormonal symptom diary. You don't need a fancy app or complicated charts. Just a notebook or the notes on your phone will do, and jot down each day how you slept, your energy levels, if you had anxiety, headaches, digestive issues, mood swings, or if your period arrived early or late. You'll be amazed at the patterns that start appearing. After 2 or 3 months, you'll notice how certain discomforts crop up on the same days. And that, my love, is pure gold for understanding what your body's up to. Another clue you should watch for is your body temperature. Although it's rarely talked about, many women notice changes in their basal temperature before hot flushes start showing up. You can track it with a digital thermometer as soon as you wake up before getting out of bed. Write it down. If you spot sudden dips or ongoing fluctuations, it's a clear sign of hormonal imbalance. Now, let's move on to something almost no one associates with menopause, but it's an early warning sign: changes in your body's inflammation levels. You'll notice it because you start feeling more bloated, your joints feel stiff in the morning, or you get muscle aches without having done anything out of the ordinary. This happens because estrogen has a natural anti-inflammatory effect. When it drops, low-grade inflammation rises. And it doesn't just make you feel heavier and more sluggish, it also increases your long-term risk of illness. Here's a practical tip. Start including anti-inflammatory foods in your daily meals right now. No need for a drastic diet, but begin adding turmeric, ginger, oily fish, walnuts, extra virgin olive oil, and loads of leafy greens. And be careful with ultra-processed foods. During this phase, their effect is twice as toxic for hormonal balance. Something else hardly anyone tells you: how menopause changes your relationship with physical activity. You might have been the sort of woman who ran or did spinning classes without a problem, and now everything feels heavy, muscle soreness lingers, or you pick up injuries more easily. This isn't laziness or lack of fitness. It's because your collagen starts breaking down faster and your joints lose lubrication. The solution isn't to stop moving, but to adjust what you're doing to suit what your body needs now. A tip that really works: swap some of your cardio for moderate strength training. Lifting light weights or working with resistance bands boosts bone density, maintains muscle tone, and slows down that annoying abdominal fat that turns up uninvited and stubbornly sticks around. Now let's talk about something delicate but important: vaginal and urinary health. Many women experience dryness, discomfort during sex, itching, or little leaks of urine, and keep quiet out of embarrassment. Worst of all, they believe it's irreversible, but it isn't. What's happening is that, as estrogen drops, the vaginal lining loses elasticity and moisture, and pelvic floor muscles weaken. So, here's a practical solution for you. Hydrate your intimate area daily with specific products that are free from perfumes and harsh chemicals, And honestly, start pelvic floor exercises as soon as you can. You don't need a gym for this. You can do it at home while watching a series or reading a book. And just so you know, there are free apps to guide you through it. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked but hugely impactful issues: loss of self-confidence. The combination of physical symptoms, insomnia, anxiety, and changes in your body can really hit your self-esteem hard. Loads of women feel they're no longer attractive or valuable, and love, that's simply unacceptable. Here's a tip that genuinely works. Redefine your idea of wellness. Stop obsessing about getting back to how you were at 30. Instead, focus on feeling good in your skin right now. Give yourself permission to change routines, ditch activities that drain you, and surround yourself with people who lift you up, not weigh you down. And speaking of well-being, let's bring up the biggest taboo of all: sexuality during menopause. Yes, it can change, but it doesn't have to vanish or become a drama. What changes is the hormonal and emotional context. Your desire might dip at certain times, but it can also resurface in different ways. What really matters here is honest communication with your partner and with yourself. Explore what works for you now without comparing it to what worked before. And don't be afraid to try natural lubricants or new techniques. There's life, and honestly, very good life, in the bedroom after 50. To wrap up, here's a warning no one ever gives: the impact on heart health. During menopause, the risk of high blood pressure, raised cholesterol, and circulation problems goes up. Not because you're aging, but because estrogen, which previously protected your arteries, drops. That's why it's a good time to get a full blood test. Check your blood pressure and blood sugar, and start simple habits like 30 minutes of walking a day and deep breathing exercises to lower cortisol levels. And since we've gone through all this together, here's one last piece of advice that can genuinely change things. Don't go through this alone. Talk to your friends, your mum, trusted women around you. You'll find loads of them feel exactly the same, but don't dare to say it. Sharing your experiences will make you feel less isolated and give you real tips from other women who are living it too. So now you know, menopause doesn't start the day your period stops, but many years earlier with invisible signs that, if you learn to read, will help you take charge before the symptoms take charge of you. And if this video's shed some light for you, leave me a comment telling me which symptoms surprised you or what you had no idea about. If you'd like me to go deeper into any of these topics, let me know too. We're here to support each other and break down every one of those myths we've been made to believe. Remember, this isn't the end of anything. It's the beginning of a new chapter, and you get to decide how you want